Hello and welcome back to the Motocross Network. I didn't do a video yesterday because there wasn't really much news to talk about. Today we've got a few more stories, making it a video-worthy day, so I got 4 stories lined up for you. First one is Dean Wilson possibly talking about retirement. Well, not possibly. He is talking about retirement in a kind of clickbaity, teasy way, but we'll get into that anyway. Then we'll look at Hayden Deegan's mechanic, Monster Energy Star Racing Yamaha mechanic, Brent Duffe. He had a big injury. We'll get into the little bit of details we have on that so far, his update, how he's doing. Then we'll look at the MXGP side of things. We got a story on that part. Davy Pootjes, he signed with KMP Honda for 2024, and it looks like he's going to be returning to MXGP. And the final thing we're going to get into is the all-new 2024 KTM Factory Edition, and we're going to focus on what's new on it. Before we get into all that, this video is sponsored by MotoSups. MotoSups is a premium motocross supplement brand with the sole focus of motocross and the training involved. Today, an all-new product was launched on their site, and that is Ride Recovery. The Ride Recovery powder is a BCAA mix. If you don't know what BCAA means, that's branched chain amino acid. Those help build lean muscle, and more importantly, they help fend off muscle soreness after a workout or a ride. It basically eliminates muscle soreness. I haven't tried it yet, but that's what the science says. So if you're sick of muscle soreness and cramps after riding, go snag the Ride Recovery Mix on setup.so. Use our code TMN20 for 20% off your order. It supports them, supports us. Anyway, let's get into the news. So Dean Wilson talking about retirement. The firepower Honda rider and veteran of the sport, Dean Wilson, he had a pretty good year this year, actually. He won the Australian Supercross title and was quite competitive, actually in a near championship winning position in the World Supercross Championship. So anyway, after many years of racing, a lot of injuries came along with that. So it seems like it's finally compounding for Deano. Yesterday, Wilson took to social media to kind of clickbait us in a half honest, half joking merch announcement for his 15th season, which is 2024. So the merch he's going to mention in this video, it's the 15 for 15 edition merch, whatever, you know what it means, 15 years for the number 15. But then he captioned the video, tough announcement, and then threw sad music on it, making it seem like, oh, he's retiring right now. Well, the beginning of the video, he inferred he was retiring, then flipped the script saying, I'm not done yet, in a sort of meme-like way. You'll see in a minute. But he did continue to say that 2024 is most likely his final full season in AMA Supercross, at least, due to the multitude of injuries he's had over the years. So, hear it from the man himself. Let's listen to him talk about his upcoming retirement.
What's up, everybody? This is tough. Well, I just thought I'd update everyone on what my racing plans are next year. This is really, really tough. But
I'm not leaving. I'm not fucking leaving! The show goes on!
The show goes on, baby. So, yes, it will most likely be my last year racing AMA Supercross. Reason being, my knees took such a toll, so much damage. I've torn my ACL 5 times. I have really bad arthritis. I have no cartilage. I have no meniscus. It's just bone on bone, and honestly, just the 17 rounds in a row is really gnarly. So anyways, it's tough, but hey, I've had an awesome run, and this doesn't mean I'm retiring. I'll most likely still keep racing select events, or unless there's some miracle that happens. Got some new merch. 15 for 15, we're calling it. This is going to drop on Wednesday, so we're throwing in 30 items on random orders. So anyone that buys this t-shirt on DeanWilson15.com, we are throwing in random jerseys, pants, all sorts of cool stuff.
That's a clever merch ad for sure, but it does suck to see him semi-announce, semi-confirm that 2024 is his final full season, but it's completely understandable. I mean, he's suffered a lot over the years, but we're going to miss him. I mean, even when he wasn't in the top group of guys, he still brings that awesome Deano persona to the sport that we all love. So it's going to be tough to see him go, that's for sure. Let me know what you guys think about Dean Wilson's 15th season and that being his last dance of sorts in the sport. All right, on to the next story. This is kind of a short one because we don't have many details, and a couple details got lost on social media. So, Monster Energy Star Racing Yamaha mechanic and Hayden Deegan's mechanic, Brent Duffe. I'm sure a lot of you know him. He's one of the coolest mechanics in the pits. He suffered a very, very rough injury last week and remains in the hospital. I believe he said he was going to release the crash footage, but I've been waiting on that. That's why I didn't do this video yesterday. He still hasn't released it, so I'm not sure if he ever is. He was on a track riding. He crashed really hard. He ended up having to get life flighted out of there to Tallahassee Memorial Hospital. His injury, we don't have the full details, but what we do know is he broke his femur, I believe, in a couple spots. So he's had a couple surgeries. I think it's only 2. I think his final one was yesterday, 2 days ago. I can't quite remember. Maybe yesterday it was. But I'll throw the picture up on screen of the x-ray of his broken femur. Again, I'm not 100% sure of all the details as he hasn't released a formal update. The team hasn't released a formal update. And a couple of the Instagram stories, which is what he's primarily using to give updates, they got lost in the wind. You know how that is. 24 hours, they're gone forever. So I lost a couple of those, but I do know he's doing better now. A lot of his team members and the riders from Monster Energy Star Racing Yamaha showed up at the hospital trying to raise his hopes a bit. But yeah, that's all the details we have so far. I hope he's doing better, man. I wish I had more info for this video, but we got nothing yet, and I don't think he's going to be releasing anything soon. So I figured I'd just do a video of what we know so far. He is being released from the hospital soon, I think. I think towards the end of this week. Not 100% sure again. This was all in a story that was completely gone. So anyway, we're pretty sure that Deegan's going to have a fill-in mechanic for a little bit in 2024. I'm sure recovery for a broken femur is going to be rough, especially considering he broke it twice and had a couple surgeries on it. So depending on if he races East or West Coast, that depends on how many rounds Brent Duffe misses. Anyway, I'm wishing him the best. I hope he has a speedy recovery, and let me know what you guys think about Deegan possibly having a fill-in mechanic and Brent Duffe's injury. All right, on to the MXGP side of things. Davy Pootjes, if you watch MXGP, you know who this guy is. Pootjes announced yesterday that he has signed with KMP Honda for 2024. He will be racing in the ADAC Championship, the full season of the Dutch Championship, and select MXGP rounds, which typically means if you're racing select rounds, a lot of the teams race all of the races in the EU, so maybe half the season. Now, for those of you who don't know, Pootjes began his MXGP career in the MX2 class, obviously, in 2015 on Red Bull KTM. Unfortunately, his career ended in 2022 on JWR Honda. They didn't come to an agreement for 2023, so 2022 was his final year up until now. In 2023, he bought his own bike, his own KTM, and focused on the Dutch Championship on just his own program and bike setup. So that was cool to see. He was staying in the sport, staying riding. But now, as of yesterday, he confirmed he signed with KMP Honda, and he will be returning to the MXGP World Championship in 2024. So that's going to be really cool to see. Davy Pootjes said in the announcement, quote, "Sometimes there's a call coming in to which you just can't say no. Thanks a lot to KMP Honda for the chance. Let's make it a good year." Now, he wasn't really a top guy in MXGP, but personally, I'm pumped to see another rider on the gate. I'm always a fan of adding more adversity on the line, so I'm pumped to see Pootjes back. I doubt he's going to be a top 10 guy or anything like that. Maybe. Who knows? Who knows how good he's going to do? I don't watch any of the Dutch Championship races or the ADAC stuff, so I don't really know how good he's been the past year or so, but I'm just pumped to see another guy in the gate. Let me know what you guys think about Davy Pootjes coming back to racing MXGP. All right, the final story of the day. The 2024 KTM Factory Edition was announced today, and they gave the details of what's different on the bike. So, what's different? Firstly, they have a new frame. The biggest change to this bike is a revised frame, which KTM says offers optimized flex characteristics for improved cornering and comfort. Will the new frame, which we hear has a few key areas with less rigidity than the old frame, help the race team? That's the big question. That's something that a lot of the riders on the pro team complain about. That's what Webb was complaining about. The second big change is a KTM app and a Lit Pro already in the bike. For consumers, there's a slew of upgraded components on this bike, including the new connectivity unit off-road, which mounts to the right fork leg, and a GPS component mounted on the front fender. Riders can use the KTM Connect app to dial in bike settings, and by using the GPS and an affiliation with Lit Pro, you can examine line speed, gearing, and other information from the track. Later in this video, I'll show you a rider using that app so you can kind of see how it works. Another change to the bike is a revised shroud design. You can see in the picture the shroud looks completely different, kind of more rounded compared to last year. They changed the shroud shape, according to them anyway, in order to allow for better airflow. So I guess changing that, I don't know how, they just kind of cut a little divot into it. But they said that helps get some more air. But yeah, better airflow, thus keeping the engine cooler. You can tell in the photo how different it is, but not much details on that. You can see in the picture. They also made some minor changes, small revisions on the suspension, they said, brakes, and of course the air intake. They didn't really explain or go into depth on that, but I'm sure if you look hard enough in the picture, you can see what they're talking about. Let's now see this bike in action. Here's a quick video that was released a few minutes ago of MX2 World Champion and Red Bull KTM MX2 rider Andrea Adamo demonstrating the new features on the new bike. Here's that clip.
Was a good session.
Yeah.
Some interesting stuff in the app, Andrea.
Yes?
Yeah, with the inside-outside lines. It's crazy how accurate you can compare. What do you think about trying a little bit less engine?
Yeah, it's a good idea, I agree.
They recommend us to go like 2 clickers more close.
Let's try.
All right, let's do it.
I gotta be honest, I'm a little impressed. Typically, I'm kind of a Debbie Downer with KTM Factory Editions. I loved KTM. I was on KTM my whole life, and in recent years, their Factory Editions kind of just, they're just not impressive. They come with half an exhaust, which this one still does, only a slip-on, and graphics pretty much. Like, they don't add much to it, but they upcharge you multiple thousands of dollars. It's not worth it in my opinion. That's why I bought a Honda Factory Edition. That came with an upgraded suspension. Full Yoshimura RS12, I think it's called, exhaust. It came with, I'm not too sure of the details, but something to do with the engine. It wasn't necessarily an upgrade, but something to do with that. But when you add it all up, a couple grand on the Honda, it makes sense. You're saving money because the exhaust alone is like $1,400 nowadays. So anyway, I gotta say I'm a little impressed. They made some good changes on this bike. They didn't mention what the MSRP is going to be in the press release. I'm sure it's going to be 14 or more thousand. And they also didn't mention if the Lit Pro feature or the app feature is going to be on the next bike. I'm sure the 2025 models. So I'm not sure on that, but that's what's on the 24 Factory Edition. That's all I got for this video. Let me know what you guys think about all this. How do you feel about Deano possibly retiring, hanging up the boots? How about Pootjes returning to MXGP in 2024? What do you guys think of the new Factory Edition? Let me know everything in the comments down below. Again, go support Motosups, motosups.co. And yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. Like, comment, do all those things. Follow if you're on audio. And yeah, thank you guys for watching and or listening. See you guys in the next one.